Today, we're going to be going over the top 10 most valuable Mel Ott baseball cards, and I guarantee you that you don't know at least 3 cards on this list. Mel Ott got an interesting start in baseball. In high school, he played semi-pro, but when he tried out for his minor league baseball team, they told him he was too small. The owner of a lumber company that he was working at decided that Mel Ott deserved a chance at baseball, contacted John McGraw, and got Mel Ott a train ticket from New Orleans all the way to New York. As soon as John McGraw saw Mel Ott play, he decided that he was going to be one of the best hitters in the National League and gave him a contract back in 1926. And well, at age 19, Mel Ott hit 42 home runs and 151 RBIs. Mel Ott was one of the best National League players, led the league in home runs until Willie Mays ended up passing him in the 1960s. A member of the 500 home run club, and also has accumulated over 100 WAR across his career. One might wonder how well Mel Ott would have been if his stats were standardized over to the American League. They had a much easier batter-friendly ballparks and also a different baseball at the time period. It's rumored that between 20 and 40% more home runs were hit every single year in the American League compared to the National League. And Mel Ott played in the Polo Grounds, which wasn't really a hitter-friendly ballpark. Besides being great offensively, it was said that Mel Ott was really good on defense, so had that 1-2 combo to both help a team on both sides of the diamond. So with that backstory, let's jump into number 10, which is the 1941 Goudey. Now these cards are kind of interesting because this is the last Goudey set. Unfortunately, the company never came back after World War II. And some people don't really enjoy the 41 Goudeys because the design is somewhat lacking compared to like their 1933s or 34s, which really stand out and are immensely popular within the hobby. One cool thing that I did find though with the 41 Goudeys is the multiple colors. There is 4 different versions of the Mel Ott card. Unfortunately though, there are no backs. They are completely blank, which is kind of a shame. Our next card on the list is the 1946 Propaganda's Montiel. Now, I do have one of these in my PC. I eventually do need to grade them. They're pretty tough because they do come from Cuba and the cardstock is super thin. A lot of them were pasted into books, so they will have some back damage on them. Now, lower graded examples, usually a one you can pick up anywhere from between like $300 and $500, but that really depends on the presentation. Our first 1920s card of Mel Ott is the 1929 Cash-In. Now, I'm not an expert on this set. From researching, I saw that there's a few different backs on these, but I don't know what is a scarcer back and what type of value is assigned to it. There's not a lot of information out there. What I did see though, there was a sale of 5 back in 2020 that sold for about $500, and these don't pop up that often. Up next is the W554. This uses the same exact imagery as the Cash-In, but was produced 1 year later. Recently, there was one that was sold on Heritage as a raw example, and that has sold for $500. There's 2 different types of these. There's one that's just brown, and then there's also a black and white. This next set I had no idea about until researching, and that is 1933 Warch cigars. All the imagery from the set was actually used from a Minneapolis newspaper. The cards are about postcard size, as is typical of some of the different cards within that era. The last sale was in 2019 as a 4 for $450. Before we jump into 3 honorable mentions, I want to ask you guys to please subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out and it's 100% for free. If you want to see more lists like this, as well as videos on how to spot fake sports cards and card show vlogs almost every single week across the United States. That being said, the first honorable mention is the 2001 SP Legendary Cuts autograph. There's only 8 of these copies out there, so I couldn't really find sales data. But based off of other cut autos that I've seen a Mel Ott go to auction, I'd suppose this one would go anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000. Really depends on the premium someone wants to pay for that first pack inserted Mel Otts. Another honorable mention is Diamond Stars. They are really cool cards for the era, but they just don't go for as much money as some of the other ones in this list. This next set was also from 1934 to 36, and these are their batter ups. You do see them occasionally at card shows, but they aren't the most common cards available. And they have like a die cut part in the center, so you could technically fold out the card, although I wouldn't recommend it because you can damage it. All right, now into the top 5. We have the 1929 Leader Novelty Candy. Again, not too many sales of these. I saw a few ones that sold for about $500. But what's kind of cool is back in 2017, REA Auction sold one of these with its original candy box. So that one ended up selling for $600. And if this imagery looks really familiar to you, it should, because it was already here twice on this list. It's the same as the 1929 Cashin and 1930 W554. In the fourth spot is another Gaudi, but this is from 1933. Mel Ott actually has two different poses within the set. Now you can usually find ones of these cards anywhere from like $200 to $300. It depends on the condition, if there's multiple creases, the centering, there's a few different things associated with it. Upper to mid grades, like a 5, you could anywhere pay from like $1,200 to $1,700 based off that eye appeal. If you guys want to see even more Mel Ott cards, make sure to check out the article, which is linked down below in the description and in the comments section. Free spot, we have another 1933 card, and that is the George C. Miller. Originally, these were distributed with toffee, and I think these are some of the ugliest baseball cards out there. But because they're so scarce and there is a collector base for them, they are expensive. The last 5 sold in 2018 for over $3,000. In the number 2 spot, we have the 1934 Al Demir die cuts. I think that's how you say it. Sorry guys if I ended up butchering it. Really couldn't find too much sales data for it, except for one listing that sold in 2008 for $1,500. Now in today's environment, that's probably well over a 5-figure card. Good luck finding it. And our top spot on this list was the Merry Mints, and these cards are from Australia, as weird as it sounds. Based off of the imagery and also the text on the back, it's estimated this card could be anywhere from 1926 to 28. Merry Mints had different popular personalities across different sports, including cricket and also golf, but it's kind of interesting to see Mel Ott, a baseball player, be on an Australian release. Now, the name at the bottom of the card is incorrect, but the imagery on the front is odd. And if you turn the card over the back, they talk about his contract and being paid really well. Well, Mel Ott got his first Major League Baseball contract in 1926. So could be as early as that, could be later in the 20s. Either way, it's a really scarce card that most people didn't know about. And it was brought to light by Stephen Fleming. If you watched another interview on our channel, knows so much about cricket cards. Phenomenal resource for Australian collectibles. So if this card went to auction today, it's easily a 5-figure card. I would probably assume it's a $25,000 plus, but who knows what these type of things go for at auction. All it takes is a few people that really want this card to jack up the pricing, because you're never going to see it again. Well, I shouldn't say never, but statistically, most likely you are never going to see something like that again. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to check out this one right here to see some really cool Walter Johnson baseball cards.